Are you struggling with chunking your wedges? Are these shots inside of 100 yards pretty frustrating for you? Let's take a look today at how to get better at hitting crisp, consistent shots from 30, 40, 50, 60 yards up to even 100, 120 yards. This is a lost area of the game that I feel like amateurs don't practice enough. And what happens is it raises our scores, it makes the game frustrating, and ultimately makes us feel like when we hit a great drive or have a great hole, that there's a poor result. So let's talk a little bit about how to make better contact step one. When we look at the wedge, method, there's a lot out there, right? And there's some that I agree with, some that I do not. And I'm gonna go ahead and say there's not one perfect blanket way to do it that will work in every single situation. But what I'm gonna explain to you today is, I would say, the overarching consistent way to do it that will work in most all situations. We'll have videos about how to hit it out of thick or rough, how to hit it out of bad lies, how to handle into the green Bermuda. But today we're talking about, if we have a pretty reasonable lie on a pretty normal grass, how to make better contact with that ball and really ease our minds so we don't have the chunk or the thin shot. So primarily, I think most players are afraid of chunking it, so then they thin it. So I think the thin is a product of fearing the chunk. So if we can realize that the ground is our friend, then we can start to make better contact with the ball and not have thin shots as a result of avoiding the chunk shot. What I want to make sure that we understand is, yes, we do have to hit an element down. Now what that is, you'll see a little arrow here on the screen, but it's angle of attack downwards. It's this club working in a downward fashion to the ball and then continuing down, proceeding forward and then coming up. It's almost as if I'm holding a large hula hoop right here. The club will work down, 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 hit the ball, and it'll start coming up on this end. So we do need a nice downward strike on the golf ball. We are not truly sweeping this ball, because if this club came in that low and was sweeping, we're gonna be hitting this grass all behind the ball and then really risking a chunk shot. That's really where it comes from, is that club bottoms out too early and hits the ground. Now, do we need to hit a crazy amount down on this? No, we certainly don't have to do that to get a good quality wedge shot. I'm talking about the player that you wanna break 90, you wanna break 80 and just be consistent and get the ball in the green from 40 yards. But what we do need to do across the board is have our low point in front of the golf ball. Now what that means is, when I get set up and I hit this shot, my club's working down, 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 it hits the ball, it's continuing downward through the ball to about in here somewhere, and then it starts coming up. So we used that hula hoop example earlier. Imagine if we took that hula hoop, we're moving a little bit forward, so the club hits the ball on the downswing of the hula hoop. So we hit it on the way down, it continues down, and then it comes up. That's how we achieve ball first contact without having the fear of a chunk or a thin shot. So how do we get the low point in front? Let's talk about the mechanics side of things. So when I get set up to this shot, first thing I want to understand is the size of swing that I'm going to take. So for this one, I'm going to do what I'd call like a hip to hip, somewhere in there. Okay, so that means that my hands are swinging from about hip high through to about hip high. Now the setup is crucial here. If you look on our membership, you can see a lot of information about setup fundamentals. You can see a lot of information about where to put your pressures and things like that. But I'm going to run through it quickly here. And from a face-on perspective, I want my ball in the middle of my stance. I'm going to put my feet close together. That's to prevent a lot of movement, because we want to be pretty still during these shots as far as lateral motion goes. Then, bending from the waist, getting in my good golf posture. But the last and most important thing is I want to be aware of where my sternum is. My sternum is the center point of my body, and what I want to feel is that it is slightly in front of the golf ball, okay? So here's the mistake amateurs make. You get set up and you think, okay, I need to move weight to my left foot, and we do this. Now what's happened is my sternum has dropped behind the ball. I am almost guaranteed to chunk this golf ball, if not drop kick it, okay? So we cannot push forward and the sternum go back. Now I've created spine angle on a pitch shot that I don't need it. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna get set up and I'm gonna lean with my sternum in front of the ball, okay? So my low point's out here in front. So when I get set up, I'm all ready to hit it. I'm gonna lean out in front, so my sternum's slightly in front, my line's right here now, and I'm gonna make my swing keeping my sternum in front. While a lot of instructors may disagree on how much to hit down, how much to sweep, which body parts to use, are you drawing it, are you cutting it, the one thing that we will agree on is that the low point needs to be in front of the golf ball. We cannot have the low point of the chip, pitch, wedge shot, full swing, except for driver. We cannot have it behind the golf ball. It needs to be in front. That little setup cue right there will make a world of difference for you. Because if I see you as a player and you're set up like this, we're in trouble. There's not a lot I can do to help you to hit good pitch shots with today's technology on today's turf that is going to be effective, other than we need to get the sternum in front so the low point can get out in front. Okay, so that's number one in setup. So let's talk about the swing a little bit, okay? And I'm gonna show you a couple examples of when I get set up here. If I set up with too much spine angle and I hit a little wedge shot, I can get something like that, right? I got away with it because I have a really nice lie here, but my ball was sitting here and that divot started a good 2 inches behind my ball. That ball did not come out the distance that I wanted it to go, nor did it come out with the trajectory or the spin that I was looking for. So if I go here, let me set my spine angle a little bit differently. Okay, now I've got my sternum out in front of the ball, make a similar motion. Now I'm able to get a nice crisp contact with the ball. Got a little bit of a divot there. It's not essential, we don't have to have that, but it is a representation that we got out there in front of it slightly, okay? So let's do one more here. Show you again what that's supposed to look like. So I'm getting set up. I'm gonna take this whole left side and just feel like I'm leaning towards a wall. So I'm set up, whole left side leaning towards a wall. I like that little one a lot there. So now I'm getting that body through, I'm feeling comfortable, I'm getting nice contact, keeping that sternum in front. Let's talk about the wedge swing itself now. So now that we've talked a little bit about the importance of setup, of spine angle, of where that sternum is, just to get the low point in front, let's talk a little bit about the swing. In golf, the wedge swing is not something you see a lot about, right? So we see a lot of full swing stuff, we see a lot of chipping, we see a lot of putting, we see tons of driver, but what do we call those shots that are 70 yards, right? 60 yards. You can't hit a full shot. We call them half swings. There's a lot of different methods out there, but what I like to call them are my wedge swings. So with all of my players, from my LPGA Tour and PGA Tour players all the way to my very beginners, we call them their wedge swings. That gives the brain a nice, simple attachment to a certain swing that is based in that area of the game and how we move the golf club. A wedge swing is something where we are trying to create very good, high quality contact, very consistent size and speeds of swings, and ultimately very consistent distances, right? If we want to go to the high level, now we're creating consistent trajectory. But what I want to talk to you first about today is the size of swing and the impact that has on making good contact. I would say majority of players that I get anywhere from 10 to 25, 30 handicaps, even sometimes single digit handicaps. I'll ask them, okay, how do you know from 60 yards? How do you know how to hit it that far? I just feel it. Okay, that's a recipe for disaster. Can't trust our eyes on the golf course. We need to have a method to know how we're going to move the ball from point A to point B and get in the ballpark of 60 yards. So how we're going to do that is through a couple different size swings. I like to go by body part. So I like to go hip high, I like to go rib high, and then I like to go shoulder high, okay? And I'm referring to those as with my hands, okay? My hand position, not my club head, just where my fists of my hands get to. Now, let's talk first about the hip high. We're gonna stick with that one today because it's the most common. You can get around the golf course very efficiently with it, and it's one that really builds the foundation of the other areas of the game. So with hip high, there's a couple things we're gonna focus on. Number one, use the core, okay? You have to use the core of your body as the main motor to move the swing and get it going. I see amateurs every single day try and hit these shots with their arms and their hands, and it goes horribly, okay? Your hands and arms do a lot in the golf swing. However, they are not the primary motor, the primary engine that makes the club swing. So I see a lot of amateurs will start out like something like this, where they get set up and they go like that, hit their wedge shot, right? That doesn't work because I haven't used my body. I've just simply lifted my arms, and now I'm gonna try and drop them on the ball. Here's what I want you to feel. I'm gonna set the club down for a minute. You can do this at home or wherever you're watching. So you're gonna go ahead and get in golf posture, feet close together. You're gonna take and you're gonna link your hands together, okay? With the fingers interlocked down here. Now what I want you to do is you're gonna feel like you're nice and tight through here and here, feeling like everything's clamped together. Now you're gonna take and turn this away. Your head has to stay still, and we're gonna feel like we just turn it away. Okay, so from the back camera now you can see that I'm using my chest and my core. From this front camera here, you can see that I'm not leaning forward and up. I'm not moving my head that way. Those are gonna be no-nos. I wanna feel like I stay centered and I turn it away. So centered, turn it away. Here's the checkpoint. The arms shouldn't fold a lot. They shouldn't lift a lot. It should just be as simple, get set up, turn it away, trying to get to this position. This arm can get a touch softer, but I'm not folding it a bunch, okay? Now, if I do that with the club, get set up, use my core, turn it away. Now, if I grab a golf club, look at that. I'm in a pretty good position right there, okay? So that's the key in the backswing that I want us to have, is that when we get set up and I get a club in my hands, I want to feel as though my sternum's out in front of the golf ball, and then I turn that wedge swing more around me, okay? I'm not whipping the club head inside with my hands. I am simply feeling that as I go back, I'm turning with the body and setting the club over here, okay? You could feel as though you're swinging along the plane of the shaft. That's completely fine. So the sensation there is if I'm set up, that as I go back, I'm swinging on this plane, just around myself, out in front, and hold the finish, okay? So the clasping the hands drill and feeling that takeaway is super important. If you want to take it to the next level, you can grab a band, attach it to something, and take that band and put it in your hand and pull that band away and get the sensation of utilizing your core as you go to hit these shots. Let me show you a little bit what this is gonna look like. So if you struggle at all with chunk shots, thin shots, using the core will help you so much to get the sensation and keep the club more level through the ground. It'll help with divots. So what I'm feeling is this. I'm gonna go here, nice and wide, use the core. I like that one a lot. So we should feel that it's pretty concise, that it's pretty simple little shot here. Not feeling like a lot going on. I'm not using a ton of hands and arms. Just kind of a hip to hip size with the hands, getting that sensation of feeling like my body's in control. Here's what I really don't want. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see it in here. I don't want a lot of wrist action. I want to feel like I get my sternum slightly in front, and then I use my core back and through. I really like that one a lot there. So let's talk about the finish position. We talked a lot about the backswing. The finish position needs to be an equal size to the backswing, number one. So notice when I hit these shots that my backswing is about the same size as my follow through. Okay, consistent size. That keeps my body in control, and it keeps my arms from wanting to run away with the shot and get way too involved. Here's your checkpoints that you're gonna take away from this. Number one, setup. Making sure that when you're set up, you have your sternum slightly in front of the golf ball, and we're in good golf posture, which looks something like this. Number two, you're gonna make sure that we have an equal size swing, okay? However far back we're going, we're gonna go the same distance through. Number three, we're gonna make sure that we utilize our core. Okay, we should feel the big muscles working in this swing. We should not feel like our arms or our hands are responsible in any way for creating this golf swing. The last thing I want to make sure is when we're following through, we're getting that equal size swing, but that our low point is in front of the golf ball. And how we're going to do that, I'm going to hit one more for you here and show you that as we go through, watch where my weight ends up. You can clearly see that I'm going to be on my lead side, out in front of the ball, okay? So we're gonna feel like we're out in front, up on our lead side, leading the club through the golf ball, getting the ground out in front of it. So when you go out there to the course, if you remember one thing, make sure the low point is in front of the ball and you get that ball first contact. As soon as we recognize that the ground is our friend, your thin shots will get better as well because you will not have the tension in the swing trying to avoid the chunk, thus creating the thin shot. So head out there, use some of these tips, and hit some great wedges.